everyone. Welcome to this introductory class of business ethics of the IGNOU exam, this paper for IGNOU. Now, in this particular lecture, we are going to discuss the business ethics paper in large, but we just want to understand in just what all things are included in this particular paper, because as we know, this is a new paper. We have to understand what are the key concepts that are supposed to be taught in this particular paper. Okay, now if we look at the objectives, we can from this particular paper we can understand first the concept of business ethics. Now this particular term business ethics is actually self-explanatory. Ethics in business. Ethics means, if you look at the in the layman's term, if we talk about ethics, we say something that is considered to be correct. And when you compare it to be something that is compared with something being incorrect. So when you're talking things about ethical things that are correct in business, things that are going to be practiced by the organizations, by the management in such a way that it can be considered to be good or correct with respect to the employees, with respect to the customers, with respect to the suppliers, with respect to the government, the laws that are governed, that are being governed by that particular country. Okay, so basically this particular paper, it discusses what is correct and what is incorrect from the point of view of the organization. Ethics in retail. Now, in the next slides, we'll just look at the units specifically. In the retail industry specifically, what are the ethics? What are the good practices? What are the unfair trade practices which are not supposed to be used by organization? All those practices, all those standards, all those policies, all those conventions, all those are mentioned in this particular unit in elaborate. Okay, so this by studying this particular paper, we can understand what are the good things, what are the correct things, what are the incorrect things in retail industry specifically. Identifying the code of conduct. Now, when we talk about code of conduct in any profession, if we are talking about a code of conduct of a doctor, okay, so we know that a doctor will always act in such a manner that is best for his or her patient. So code of conduct, when you're talking about code of conduct with respect to a business, with respect to an organization, it refers to all those practices which are carried out by the management in which is in such a manner that is very good, very correct with all its internal and external parties that are involved in an organization. So when a particular employee is being paid salary, it is considered to be ethical if that particular salary is at par with the standards, with the industry standards. Why? So because you're not treating, or suppose when there are so many employees, there are some male employees, there are some female employees. So both the male employees and the female employees, if they are in the same position, if they have the same designation, they are supposed to be paid equally. This is a good code of conduct. That means you are not doing any discrimination on the basis of gender, on the basis of caste, on the basis of religion, whatever it may be. So these are considered to be good ethics. These are considered to be good code of conduct, which is going to be again discussed in this particular unit, in this particular paper. Identifying challenges and implementation of business ethics. Now, this is very obvious that there will be some organizations which do not follow the good code of conduct, or which do not follow the the prescribed business ethics rules and regulations. So what are the laws that can that can capture that, okay, if a particular organization is not following the good rules of business ethics, what can happen then? Because no, this is very essential, because then the organizations will have this thing. Now, this is a very natural thing. Suppose an organization is evading taxes, and that organization knows that the management knows that even if I evade taxes, in this country, I'm never going to get caught. So this thinking that I'm never going to get caught, this will obviously that will hamper the implementation. Okay, so business ethics, what are the challenges and what are the how it is implemented in an organization, and what happens when it is not implemented? All these things are going to be discussed in this particular paper. Moving on, if we just look the unit wise, the first, if we put some shed some light on the syllabus, The unit 1, which is the introduction to business ethics. Now, of course, naturally, this is an opening chapter. In this particular chapter, we are going to discuss the different concepts of business ethics, okay, different approaches to business ethics. What are the features of business ethics? What are the advantages, disadvantages, and what are the characteristics of business ethics? Basically, a very quick introduction to business ethics, so that in the next chapters, in the next unit, we are going to understand some specific terms. Suppose normative ethics is being used, okay, in the next chapter. So we should know what is the concept of normative ethics. We should know what is the concept of formative ethics, or what are the different features of ethics. Now, suppose a person does not know what is ethics. Once we read the characteristics of ethics, okay, it is related with something being correct, something being not being incorrect, and all those different features and characteristics which we are going to learn. Next unit talks about the fair trade practices in retail business. Now, this is again, this particular unit, they talk about the different policies, the different standards of the business ethics, specifically related with the retail business, the retail trade. Because we know that retail trade, now what is a retail trade? If we talk about a retail trade, we know that retail trade is the link between the wholesalers, the producers, and the final end customers. Okay, so it is very important because it is acting as an intermediary between between the wholesaler and the customer. Okay, so being ethical for retail business is very essential. In this particular unit, we are going to discuss about the standards, the policy, the conventions that are related to the retail business specifically. Next unit, consumer privacy and data protection. What is the importance of data and data protection in our organization? This is going to be the point of discussion in our unit number 3. Because for an organization, data is money. Whatever market research a particular organization has done on, for the introduction of a new product, it stored that data in somewhere. And if that data is, lost, or somehow it is stolen or lost, and in some manner it is lost, it is actually the loss of so much of effort that was made to, capture the data, all those money that was put in to capture those data. That is why it is very essential for an organization to protect or to safeguard the data. And of course, consumer privacy is also essential. Suppose a market, a field study was done, and I told suppose my favorite political party, and my name was also mentioned. This is something that is very important. And this is the organization has the responsibility of protecting my privacy. So consumer privacy and data protection is an essential topic that we're going to discuss in unit number 3. What are the different ways of protecting consumer data? What are the various ways of protect, or of if there is a breach, how can a particular consumer sue, or what are the different ways that can be methods that can be taken to protect it. In the unit number 4, ethical practices in product, everything related with the product, the product awareness, the protection of products, the promise that an organization makes, implied promise that an organization makes to provide products which are of a superior quality, which are of a reasonable prices. All these things are included in ethical practices in product. Basically, all those practices, all those efforts that are made by an organization in protecting or in safeguarding the interest of the consumer in product, that is mentioned in unit number 4. Now, since product, even when we consider the marketing mix thing, product was something that actually product is it is the center of everything, because prices and promotion and place, all those will come later on. First, all the effort is going to be put into product. Hence, product is a very essential thing. Ethical practices related with product awareness. What are the different methods that can be employed to include to improve the product? Okay, all these things are going to be included in unit number 4. Unit number 5 is an extension of unit number 4. Okay, where we are going to study a little bit more. There's an extension about the ethical practices that can be employed for protecting the ethical practices that are going to be involved in protecting the product, as well as what are the efforts, what are the steps that can be taken if a particular product, because we have consumer protection is very much related, most of it is related with the product part. So if I as a consumer find that this particular product is not ethically correct, okay, I can sue it. And what are the different things, what are the different ways that I can sue it? Okay, that is all going to be discussed in unit number 5. Unit number 6 talks about ethical practices in pricing, because we know there are so many different strategies of pricing: dynamic pricing, penetration pricing, skimming pricing, psychological pricing. But again, there has to be ethics that has to be followed in pricing. As an organization, it is very much essential that there is no differentiation, there is no discrimination that is done between the different customers, between the different set of customers on the basis of prices. What is price discrimination? When a particular organization charges different prices from different customers for the same product, that is known as price discrimination, and it is ethically incorrect to do so. So basically, all those practices, all those methods that are employed by an organization to make sure that there is no discrimination, that the prices that are set are ethically correct. They are not they're not they're not ethically incorrect. That means that they are not harming someone. Okay, they're not going to they are going to protect both the because when prices are set, it is not only because it is not only going to serve the purpose of the organization. The consumers have a very big say in pricing. Why? Because the consumers are going to pay the price. Hence, when the different when choosing the different from among the different strategies of the pricing, organization has to make sure that there are a lot of complications and all those things are kept in mind, and then prices are set. Hence, when we're talking about when we're going to discuss the unit number 6, we're going to talk about the ethical part of it. How a price of of a particular product is set, keeping in mind the ethical part of the organization. That is going to be a part of unit 6. In the unit 7, ethical practices and promotion in the retail sector. Now, this is very essential, because when we're talking about promotion, we are talking about personal selling, we're talking about advertising, we're talking about public relations, we are talking about all those things that are related with informing the consumers about the product. Now, it is very much it is very much common basically in advertisement that there are so many suppose an advertisement comes up that by eating up this particular nutrition drink, your child will become stronger and taller, and he'll become fit. This again, you're providing an incorrect information to the customer. This is ethically incorrect, because if it is proven, and now we've seen that it is proven that it is not actually a nutritional thing. So this is incorrect. This is all these are going to be discussed in the ethical practices and promotion in the retail sector, where we are going to discuss how promotion influences customer to buy the product, and hence all those practices that needs to be stopped in order to promote the ethical part of the promotion, specifically in the retail sector. Now, this particular paper focuses a little bit more on the retail sector if you compare from the wholesale sector, because the retail sector has a close connection with the direct customers, because the retail sector is responsible for directly communicating with the customers. So in unit 7, we are going to discuss all the ethical practices that must be employed in that should be employed in the retail in the promotion of the retail sector. Ethical practices in managing distribution. This is a part of unit 8. Now, when we're talking about a distribution includes both the distribution of raw materials from the the place of purchase to the factory, and also the distribution of the finished goods to the final end customers. We know that the goods are supposed to be distributed, they have to be transported to the actual place where it is supposed to be purchased by the final end customers. Hence, all these are going to be discussed in the unit number 8, where we talk about ethical practices in managing distribution, all those policies and all those standards that has to be followed in order to make sure that the distribution, because there are many people involved in distribution, in transportation again, so all those people have to be ethically the organization has to be ethically correct. Unit number 9 talks about ethical practices for employees. We know that employees are a very essential part of an organization, and it is the responsibility of the organization to ethically treat them correct. Okay, their salary part, their incentive part. Not only that, even the promotion, even the way an employee is treated within the walls of the organization, that is also included in the ethical part, without any discrimination, without any with enough security, not only job security, even health wise, it has to be Correct. So all those practices, all those methods that are going to be employed by an organization to make sure that their employees are treated ethically correct. Coming to unit number 10, ethical practices in social and environment responsibilities in retail business. This particular unit is a little bit more interlinked with the corporate social responsibility part, okay, where we're going to discuss the responsibility of an organization towards the environment in which it is living. Okay, both the internal environment and as well as the external environment, because an organization, it is, again, it is not going to work in isolation. Okay, it has to continuously communicate and interact with a different external environment. Hence an organization also has a responsibility towards the external environment. Ethical practices in customer service, unit number 11, and grievance resolution in retail. Again, whenever a particular customer will feel that my right was not correct, it was not exercised correctly, it can it may want to he or she may want to put a grievance, put a complaint, and then what is going to be the steps, or what are the ways a particular customer can attain this grievance resolution in the in Indian country. Okay, that is going to be included in unit number 11. Unit number 12 talks about ethical practices in managing safety, health, and occupational hazards in the retail industry. Again, if there is an accident, unfortunately there's an accident of an employee, what are its rights, what are its liabilities that the organization has to pay to the employee. And of course, there has to be some standards that are set. There are different laws that are set in by the government of India, so as to resolve or any problem in case of any problem arising because of managing health or safety. Because again, as we've discussed, it is the responsibility of the organization to look after the health and the environment to be safe, the place to be safe, and everything. So all these are going to be discussed in these particular units. We look forward to learn the concept of business ethics, and of course the different ways that business ethics has to be employed in an organization. We are going to enjoy this journey when we understand the different concepts of business ethics, and we're going to learn new theories and new perspectives of business ethics. Thank you.